Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. I hope y'all are having a fantastic day. It's your girl, Nana, and it's time for Live with Nana. I hope you're having, again, another great morning, okay? Mine is already off to quite a busy start, okay? So, today's session is going to be a wonderful one. So if you are here live joining, pop up in the comments, say a hello, let me know where you are tuning in from. And if this is your first time joining, let me introduce myself. My name is Nana Badu. I am an image consultant and speaker, and I talk about all things related to style, authenticity, and confidence for women leaders in the workplace. So our conversation today is talking about 3 big style mistakes that high achieving women make. And we're going to talk about some solutions around how you can fix it. Okay. So, one of the things that I have seen, actually, let me take a step back. A lot of the women, let me give you some context. So, if you're not familiar, a lot of the women that I work with are in the corporate space. Okay. This might be you, dear. Okay. Most of the women I work with are in positions from senior management to director, VP to the C-suite. And when you are this type of woman, there is a lot happening in your lifestyle. Okay. You are constantly busy with work. You are a thought leader and you're an expert in your field. So you have at least a decade of experience, of expertise in your space. You've got degrees on degrees on degrees stacked up, right? And you're really stepping into this space where, there's a level of I don't give a about stuff because you start to really understand the value you bring. So you don't tolerate nonsense. You understand? Because you know that when you're entering into your role, into a company, into a client space, you are secure and clear about the value that you bring to the table. That's undeniable for you. So that looks like you really having a serious position of leadership, right? So you're not only doing work to deliver for uh, revenue goals and retention rates and driving all kinds of metrics for your company, right? Sales, etc. But you're building teams, you're leading and managing teams, right? You're doing recruitment. You are part of other different avenues and activities connected to your company. Maybe you're part of affinity programs. Hopefully y'all still got some. You might be doing some community service related things, right? You are a leader and you are highly visible because you are high achieving, right? And this doesn't just apply in your career. This also spills over into your personal life, right? So you might be on boards, you might have your own side business that you've started if you're not the CEO of your own company, right? There are multiple spaces that you are in where you are leading and serving. Okay. So I just want to paint the picture of what and who this is applying to. All right. Because you might be hearing this and be like, okay, you're reading me up and down and through. Right. But that is who you are. You might have, your calendar busy, right? It's busy on the corporate side, or it's busy on the career side with work, travel, client appointments, meetings, pitching, right? Conferences, and it's also busy on the personal side, right? You might be having weddings to attend, brunches, galas, vacations, right? You're going out with the fam or with your spouse or your partner. You've got things going on. All right. So time is of the essence. Sometimes most of the time you feel like you ain't got enough. Okay. And oftentimes you're not, let's keep it a buck, not taking as good as, can I get it together? You're not allowing yourself to be cared for and dedicating as much time as you probably need to take care of yourself. Right? We're gonna keep it 100 today. Okay. So this would be the scenario that you're in as a high achieving woman. And when this is happening for you, if this is your current reality, there are some common mistakes that I see being made when it comes to your wardrobe and your style. And I'm going to break down 3 of them. So the first one is allowing your definition of professional to be defined by somebody else. Okay. Letting your definition of professional be defined by somebody else. If you are a high achieving woman, you got there because you are professional, right? Like that is who you are. You are the consummate professional. All right. You take care and pride in your work. You are excellent at client interface and delivery. You provide thought leadership. You manage teams well, right? You deliver. This is who you are, right? So as a professional, you have that locked in. But when you think about how you're showing up in terms of your style, you still revert back to the status quo definition of what it looks like to show up professionally. And that's because you haven't defined it for yourself. You haven't figured out what it looks like according to your style of leadership, right? Your style of being a professional, right? You haven't defined it for yourself. So what does that look like? That looks like you still prescribing to a classic black, gray, navy, khaki, right? You open up your closet, that's the bulk of what you see. You go shopping, that's the bulk of what you see, that's the bulk of what you buy. And you think, this is safe, this is professional, right? I am going to be taken seriously if I wear these colors and I continue to wear this very traditional, classic look. And the reality is that you need to shift this mentality. You need to redefine what it looks like to be a professional on your own terms, right? Listen, Portia, you already know, okay? This is, I mean, and let me tell you, when I'm working with my clients, again, these are women who are at the top of their game. They're on boards, they're leading global teams, and still in this role, they are questioning whether or not they will be seen as professional or taken seriously if they deviate beyond black and gray and navy. And this is a problem. This is a deeply rooted philosophy. It's an indoctrination of what it means to look professional in the workplace. And it's not just within the colors, right? It's not just within the colors, but that's definitely a space that, we going to talk about, right? But you think that it has to be that single button blazer or jacket, right? It's got to be just a straight cut trouser, right? And then you just finish it off with that ballet flat or that matching pump, right? And you're like, yes, I am professional. This is what professionals do. This is how I'm going to show up in the space. There's nothing, this is a problem if you think that that's the only way. If you think that that's the only way. And the other reason why this becomes a challenge is that as your career evolves, and actually, yeah, I'm getting into number 3. I'm a pause on that because I don't want to reveal my third one. But this becomes an issue for you if if you have your blinders on and you are still looking to really having an outdated view of the only way that you can show up professionally in a space, right? Like, we need you to move. We need to move beyond this indoctrination. We all had it, right? We all had it. When you got the first job, listen, whoever was that person who was like, oh, you've got your first job, you got to get suits. You got to go, got to get a black suit, got to get a navy suit, get your gray suit. Awesome, fantastic, right? It is problematic if you have those same suits, the same ones from when you started out with your first job and your first role, okay? And it's a problem because it's outdated. All right. That was a snapshot in time. But you think like, oh, it's classic and it's traditional and it's, it's still in good condition. Is it? What I find is oftentimes going through clients' closets, it's not. It's not in the best quality and condition. And it is an outdated style. It is an outdated style. The fabric is worn out. The cut it really screams junior. It does not scream executive. It does not scream seasoned. It does not say I have a unique perspective. It does not say when I enter the room, I'm the leader, I'm the speaker. Like it does not read that. It reads intern. Okay. It reads someone who needs to be told what to do versus someone who is the decision maker. Did you feel it? Okay. You're stuck in a space of feeling like these are the parameters around what professional looks like. And your closet is full of these outdated styles. So you have to start first to redefine what that looks like for you. Now that you have the decades of experience and the knowledge and you have a unique perspective and it needs to be shared and you want to walk into spaces and leave people with a memorable impression of you. You can't do that if your attire looks like every other person in the room. You can't make the same visual impact. All right? Listen. Okay? If you feel shook, if you feel hit, that's what we're doing today. All right. All right. Let's get into the second thing. The second mistake that I see high achieving women making is that they treat style like it's a luxury and not part of their leadership toolkit. They treat style like it's a luxury and not part of their leadership toolkit. So what does this mean? This means that you are the person at this stage in your career who invests. You have a career coach, an executive coach. You are taking classes to get certifications in your field, right? You are hiring the financial wealth advisor because you're trying to make sure you stacked and that you got something for listen, I'm about to say later in life, for now in life, because you want to be wealthy today, tomorrow, and the next, okay? Right? You are investing in the trainer. You have the therapist on deck. You invest in resources and personnel to help you achieve your big goals. You hire the cleaning woman to take care of that house, okay? You might have support to take care of your kids. You might be having that service that's like, let me deliver these meals and these good groceries, right? You invest what's necessary to help you have the lifestyle that supports you because you don't have a lot of time. You are in a lot of high stakes, important situations. And you got a lot of people depending on you, relying on you, asking you questions. It's intense. It's a lot. You have a lot on your shoulders. So if you're making all of these different investments in these spaces, but for some reason, when it comes to your wardrobe, When you think about making investments there, you're like, oh, no, a stylist, that's something that wealthy people do. That's something for like celebrities. I don't think I can do that. Like I can't make that investment. That's not for me, right? You think that's something that's, you keep waiting maybe for a certain level in your life where you are now granted permission to have that kind of luxury, to be included in your lifestyle. Newsflash, no, you don't need to wait. It's happening now. Okay, because the reality is making sure that what you wear every day when you get dressed and step out into the world has immense impact over time. And it's a key piece that contributes to your visibility, that contributes to your communication strategy, and really adds to just your own sense of self confidence. And those are key ingredients in your leadership toolkit. All right. And if you think it's not, you're highly mistaken. I want you to take an inventory of a woman leader at your company, in your industry, or that you might just admire. What is it about her that you admire? What is it about her that stands out to you, that makes her memorable, that makes her a force, respected, acknowledged? Like what is it? When you take the totality of her in, I know without a doubt that the attention and intention that she gives to her style from head to toe, her clothing, her accessories, her hair, her makeup, her nails, her grooming, all of these ways, her posture, her communication strategies, like the imagery you see when you Google her name and what pops up online, all of these elements, this is all part of her toolkit. You can't just focus on the trade and just your industry and the craft. That is not going to get you to the level of visibility as a leader that you really desire. It's not just about doing things on paper. What you're able to do and the memory and the impact that you're able to create based on the value that you bring goes beyond the paper. Like that is important. It's important to have the metrics and the knowledge and all of those skills. You've got that. What else? What else? And so as you begin to think about the other components, what are the things that are happening in your leadership toolkit? What are the things that you need to be investing in, right? As an image consultant, we talk about the ABCDs of image: appearance, behavior, communication, and digital presence. I tell folks all the time, you have to assess these different areas for you. Where are the spaces that you know you need to be putting in more work, right? Listen, okay, you can always tell when a woman in leadership goes from no stylist to having a stylist. That is a fact. All right. There is a certain level of elevation that happens when you invest. And if you're doing this already, you've seen it. When you've invested in an executive coach, how things change in the way that you were able to navigate conversations with your managers, how you were able to manage your team, right? When you invest in that therapist, how you're able to acknowledge when you need to set better boundaries and acknowledge when you're self-sabotaging, right? Like awareness happens, actions change, habits change, and you grow and evolve. So why do you think that what you wear every day doesn't require the same level of investment and attention? I don't know. Make it make sense, right? As a leader, you are building a personal brand. You want to have a strong sense of leadership presence, executive presence, right? These are all just other ways to say that you have deep confidence and conviction in yourself. And that is something that people feel, and that's something that they see. So the brand that you are building, whether you realize it or not, whether you're doing it with thoughtful and genuine intention or not, it's happening. It's happening. So what is your brand saying about you? Because that's what people are saying about you when you're not in the room. Fix it. Okay. We're going to talking about how you can get it fixed this month. Okay. Let me get into the last point here. It's number 3, big mistake that I see high achieving women making when it comes to their style is not evolving your style as your career evolves. Not evolving your style as your career evolves. So this is looping back a little bit to that, to the first point that I was talking about not defining professionalism on your own terms. You can get stuck in a wardrobe rut, right? Oftentimes when you're opening up your closet, you got a bunch of clothes, but you feel like you have nothing to wear. And what I hear most, especially from women who are in senior and executive level positions, is that they feel like their clothes do not reflect who they are now. They open up pieces and they're like, I don't want to wear any of this stuff. It doesn't feel like me. If that's where you are, keep watching. Okay? Like it is a real knock to how are you able to just move through and have a really big presentation, or have an important pitch, knowing that you're stepping into that space and you're like, what I'm wearing, like this is just what I had to default to because I didn't have anything else. But I've had this suit for the past 10 years and this is the one that I think it fits the best, and it's the most professional, so I go with it. Like there's this constant default, right? There's this constant default of like, let me just throw this thing on. And these are pieces that you've had in your closet for a very long time. But as you've elevated in your career, you've gotten promotions, you've moved across companies, you've started your own company, but you are not evolving your image in the same way, right? You're not taking those necessary steps and making that investment to say, like, how I show up in its totality needs to elevate, right? And that's exactly what will happen when you begin to hire a stylist to help you do that. Because as an image consultant and stylist, like one of my biggest goals, I would say 2. One is to help unlock what you see for yourself, but are quite honestly afraid and unaware of how to bring it out, right? Like, how do I bring out a more authentic vibe to my style? I don't know how to do that. I don't even know quite sure what my style is. Might be something that you're saying, right? Like, how do I do it? I'm not sure. And then opening up your closet, maybe seeing some things on Instagram, maybe you're following some different style influencers and you like some pieces, or maybe you got a Pinterest board and you're like, oh, these are things I like. But when I go shopping, I can't find anything. When I put that piece on me, it don't look the same. I just am like, and then you get frustrated. And you're like, I ain't got time for this. Trusty black suit, trusty black dress. Let me just throw this same thing on. Meanwhile, your spouse looking at you like, you wearing that thing again? If I just read you, let me know. Okay. Like this is what's happening for you. Right. So your closet is just full of, it's a time capsule, right? And it's dusty. All right. It's dusty. Okay. And it's just really feeling like you have things that you've kept for too long. It's been past the expiration date. So, and then I think, another thing that comes in this too sometimes is that you might feel like, well, I invested so much money in those pieces. I don't want to let them go. All those St. John suits, like those were some expensive places. I paid some good money for those. You did. And you wore them and they served your purpose for that point in your career. Now you're doing a new thing. You're doing a different thing. You're growing. You're evolving. You're changing as a person, as a professional, as a woman. You are not bound. You do not You do not owe anybody anything. St. John don't care if you keep their pieces or not. Well, maybe they do to their bottom line, but so what? Are they paying you? Are they sponsoring your life? Like, let the piece go. Allow your style to evolve. It will change, right? Like, it will change. You might be someone who is like, I used to love suits, but now I don't even want to be bothered. I love to be in skirts and dresses. Maybe you're someone who used to be rocking those stilettos all the time, and you're like, I have to wear a stiletto pump to be taken seriously and professional. But now you're like, my feet, baby. No. Like, can I get a dope sneaker, a dope loafer? Like, you can do it all. You can be highly successful. You can be respected. You can be recognized. You can build a powerful brand as a leader and executive. And you can do it on your own terms. And you can show up with a style that resonates with that is not of yesteryear, okay? That is not reading intern. That is not reading, I am just an assembly line of executives all looking the same and exuding the same energy. No, you are different. So allow your uniqueness to show. Okay? Oh, come on, say it. Listen. Realization, Portia. Okay? Absolutely. Portia saying this is making me realize that when people work with you, they are not just investing in a style coach, they're investing in peace of mind and legacy. Come on. That is what we're talking about, because this is long term. Okay. This is 100% long term. I'll be honest with you. The average time that my clients work with me is a year. My clients will start out working with me for about 3 months, and then they will continue to sign on into a retainer, or they will revisit with me seasonally to make updates in their wardrobe. And we work together on average for at least a year. I have some clients that I've been working with for 6 years because they know that this is a huge piece of their leadership toolkit, building their personal brand, and the receipts and the recognition that they receive and how they feel when they enter into any engagement that's happening for them is worth the investment tenfold. So if you're like, okay, Nana, help me fix it. All right. This is your moment. All right. Because I am welcoming 4 high achieving women who are in leadership positions and who are ready for a real long lasting style transformation to join me in the Style Elevation Experience. And the Style Elevation Experience is my signature program, and it is dedicated to helping VP, C-suite, senior and executive level women really shed outdated standards of what it looks like to be professional and step fully into their own bold, authentic, and memorable sense of style, and really helping them just move in and through all spaces, knowing that how they show up in its totality is 100% aligned with the type of leader that she is. So if this is something that you need help with, I am, again, welcoming 4 women this month to work with me. And you have until September 12th to join me. All right. This is an application process. So the first step is to book a consultation call with me. And when you book the call, you'll receive a short form to fill out so that I can get a better understanding of where you are in your career and what's happening in your wardrobe and the kinds of challenges that you're experiencing. Then you'll have a consultation call with me. I'll answer your questions, get a little bit more understanding of where you are and ultimately where you want to be with your style. And then we'll share more details about what the Style Elevation Experience entails. And then we'll decide at the end of this consultation call, we will decide, is this a best next step for you? Okay. And if it is, we will, baby, move forward in all of its glory. And if it's not, I'm going to recommend what might be a different option for you. Okay. And that might be working with me. That might not be. That might be pausing or waiting or whatever. But the consultation call is really a great next step if you know that this is something you've been thinking about, or you know that you are making these style mistakes and you need to make a shift. This is a great next step to understand what it looks like to work with an image consultant and stylist like your girl, to really help transform you in that way. So I'm going to put a link to the consultation call in the comments. And I'm also going to allow you to send me a DM, okay? Because I get it. Like, you might have questions about, am I still, is this a good fit for me? Or I'm not sure. I'm making some of these mistakes, but I'm not sure if I'm quite ready yet. Whatever your questions might be, allow yourself to get some more information, because you need to get information and answer these questions so that you can make uh, an intelligent decision, right? You want to make a good decision about whether or not now is the right time to move forward. And that's definitely something that I can help you with. So drop me a DM if you have questions. But if you know that you ain't got no time to waste, if you've been following my content, okay, stalking me in these internet streets, and you're like, this is the time. I need to stop putting this on the back burner and treating this as if it's something that I shouldn't be giving time to or don't have time to give. And I need to make this a priority. If that's you, book your consultation call. You have until September 12th to join, because we about to transform some fabulous women for this fall. All right. All right, y'all. I cannot wait to connect with you and hear your thoughts. And definitely pop in the comments too and let me know, what style mistake are you making? All right. I'm definitely open and all ears to hear and read about it. All right. I hope y'all have a fabulous rest of your day, and I will see you next Wednesday. Peace.